So what good is an opportunity if you're not going to take advantage of it? One of the great dreams that we have here in America is to be able to retire someday. We have great opportunities. We have opportunities to invest for our future, to be able to save and to be able to put money away towards in retirement plans. And yet, with all of the opportunities that we have, there's too few of us that are taking advantage of those opportunities. And because of that, there's a lot of people that will never achieve the dream to be able to retire on time and with enough money to make it last, let alone being able to retire early. I'm going to share with you some statistics about the average retirement account balances. I'm going to share with you the difference between the average and the median account balances and why that's important. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you the best place to live in retirement if you have $1 million or more. Welcome to the channel. My name is Paris Clough, and this is Financial Self-Reliance. I love helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. I'd love it if you'd hit the like and subscribe button, as it will help to get the word out, grow the channel, and help people become more financially literate and more financially self-reliant. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad you're here watching, I'm glad you're here listening, and I'm glad that you're going to learn something on this video. Now, as part of my professional life and my business, I get to deal with a lot of people who are retired or who are over 65, and I get to see exactly what they've done with the opportunities that they've had available to them. I get to see the results, if you will. And let me tell you right now, what I'm about to share with you, the statistics I'm about to share with you, I've actually seen in my own professional business, in my own personal experiences dealing with seniors in America today. So without further ado, let's jump over here to Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance says 1 in 4 Americans have no retirement savings, and those who do aren't saving nearly enough. Well, that's absolutely true. And in this particular graphic, we see the retirement savings crisis. The problems are that 36% of Americans have nothing saved for retirement, 14% of baby boomers have no retirement savings and they're in retirement age, and 60% of workers have less than $25,000 saved for their retirement. And as we'll see in a minute, with numbers like this, people aren't even going to get to retirement on time, let alone being able to retire early. I want to spend the bulk of the video on this particular slide here with Personal Capital. They did some great research. They have some great information here to be able to share and kind of show exactly what's really going on. Under Personal Capital, which is, there's a link in the description below if you'd like to join Personal Capital. It's a great place to be able to track your finances, track your expenses, track your income, track your net worth. It's got a great set of tools and I highly recommend it. I actually have an account and you'll find a link in the description below if you'd like to open up your own Personal Capital account. So here we go. The average 401k balance by age. So depending on how old you are, take a look. You're going to want to focus in on the age category or the nearest age to where you are on your particular journey and see how you stack up. So 401k plans are one of the most common investment vehicles that Americans use to save for retirement. As of 2022, we can contribute $20,500 into our 401ks, which is a lot of money. Now, most people aren't contributing that much because they don't have the cash flow to be able to contribute that much. In my personal opinion, I'll be quite honest with you, and I have a different feeling and talking about how 401ks work. In fact, I'll put a link in the description below for a video, and I'll put a card up here for what I think about 401ks and how they really work and what you should do in terms of how much money you should put into them. I personally believe that you should only put money into the match. Any other money above and beyond the match is better served in other places. Again, that's my personal opinion. And by the way, that opinion has been based on a lot of study and research and dealing and working with clients, dozens and hundreds of clients over a 20-year career as a financial services professional. So if your employer offers a 401k and you're not utilizing it, you may be leaving money on the table, especially when you have employer matches, which I highly recommend. Again, put your money into the match. Absolutely, 100%, I'm all for that. 401ks are absolutely amazing. If they have a match, make sure that you're putting in enough money to take full advantage of that match. Unfortunately, just 41% of workers contribute to a 401k. 68% of workers, or 68% of employed Americans, have access to one, but only 41% are contributing to one. So if you have access to a 401k, make sure that you're contributing to it, especially if you're getting a match. Make sure you're contributing up to that match amount, and then continue to watch my channel and like and subscribe and look at some of the videos I produce and why I believe you should put the money above and beyond the match in other places. All right, now let's jump into the average 401k balance by age. This is actually a really neat thing to see the average, but unfortunately what we found is the average is completely skewed by people who have a lot of money in their 401ks. About a third of workers have zero in their 401k. Another third have a very small balance, a few $1,000s. And then the last third have tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it really skews the average. And so that's one of the things that I really don't like about averages, where the median actually tells you the number of people who have a balance less than this and the number of people who have a balance above this are exactly the same. So it's actually a more accurate depiction of what's going on with our retirement savings in America today. If you're under 25, the average balance is $6,718, where the median balance is $2,240, or a third of that. If you're 25 to 34 or in that range, your average balance is $33,000, but the median balance is only $13,000. 35 to 44 is $86, and the median is $32. 45 to 54, $161,079, where the median's only 56, so a third. Again, we're at a third. The median is actually showing a more realistic number about the crisis that we're really in. And in a minute, I'll share with you a chart done by Visual Capitalist that tells you how long it would take to spend $1 million in retirement depending on where you live. So if you want to accumulate $1 million, this is how long it will take to spend it in retirement. Well, if you're not even accumulating the $1 million in the first place, you're never going to even be able to have enough money to spend for hardly any amount of time after you retire. So the first thing is, let's make sure that we're accumulating the right amount of money, and then we'll figure out how much and how long we can spend it and how long we can be comfortable using that money and living off of that money. So if you're 55 to 64 right now, the average is $232,000, where the median is $84,000. Again, a third. If you're 65 or older, the average is $255,000, or $250,000, but the median is a third of that. Now, one of the cool things about this particular article is that it shows that that's the average nationwide, where these guys are now showing that if you belong to personal capital, or you're somebody who's a little more conscientious about your finances, you have a much better chance of having some money when you retire. And you can see the balances are much larger in the averages and in the medians. So whether you're with personal capital, or whether you're just watching YouTube, or whether you're just a person who's conscientious about your finances, trust me, you're going to have a much higher balance in your account because of that. You've got to be more aware of what's going on in your financial planning, especially if you're going to retire on time and with enough money to make it last. There's a whole movement right now, financial independence, retire early. Well, if people can't even retire on time, why are we focusing in on retiring early? Let's help people retire on time, for goodness sakes. At the bottom of this article, I wanted to share with you this really cool calculator. So how does your 401k balance compare to your peers? So you can come here, literally, I'll put a link in the description below to this particular site so that you can go and look at this and you can put it in here and see how you compare to your peers. All right, now let me show you this particular chart, which is super cool. This is a chart showing how long $1 million will last depending on where you retire when you retire. So if you retire in the West, $1 million will last you about 17 and a half years. Southwest, it's 31 and a half years. Midwest is 35-ish years. Southeast is 29, 30 years. And the Northeast is 22 years. So it's more likely for your $1 million to last if you're in the Midwest. But I'm going to break it down here into the top states and cities here. So let's take a look. So if you retired in Memphis, Tennessee, your $1 million would last you 45 years. I don't know if you live in any one of these cities, but this is a really cool chart to show you how much $1 million will last depending on where you retire. I used to live in Fresno, California, which is number 27. So if I had retired there and I had $1 million, I could live comfortably for 28 years. That's pretty cool. Now, San Francisco. If you retire, and this is pretty much California and New York, look at this, the last almost 10, the last 8, well, there's Boston, Massachusetts, and Seattle, Washington here. So these here are all these California cities. It's very expensive to live in California. That's one of the reasons why I left. Wanted to have my money go a little further. But if you lived in San Francisco and you retired there and you had $1 million, it would last you 8.3 years. So after 8.3 years of retirement, you'd either have to go back into the workforce or figure out something else to do, because you're not going to have any money left over after 8.5 years. You might have to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 million to be able to retire in San Francisco. So if your dream is to retire in San Francisco, you're going to need to have several $1 million in order to survive for very long in retirement. All right, so where do you want to retire? Which of these cities sounds like a great place to retire? Where you decide to retire will determine how much longer your money will last. My recommendation is pick a place where your money will last as long as possible. I'd love to know where you'd like to retire. So put a comment below where you'd like to retire, especially now that you know how long your money will last depending on where you retire, so that you can pick the best place to make sure that money lasts as long as possible. If you missed my last video, you can check it out here. Subscribe to the channel up here and check out this video up here that YouTube thinks you might like. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.